There is a specific kind of quiet that hits you the first night your kids aren't home. It's not peaceful quiet. It's not restful quiet. It's the kind of quiet that has weight to it. The kind that presses down on your chest and makes the house feel like it belongs to someone else. You walk past their rooms. Maybe you leave the door open. Maybe you can't bring yourself to close it. You sit down somewhere, the couch, the kitchen table, the edge of your own bed, and you feel something that is almost impossible to describe to someone who hasn't lived it. You are free, and you are completely gutted at the same time. If that's where you are right now, or if that's where you were, and you're still carrying it, this video is for you. Because nobody talks enough about what it actually does to a man to go from being a full-time dad to a part-time address. And nobody talks enough about what it takes to grow through it instead of just survive it. My name is Marcus. This is Rebuilding Men After Divorce. And this June, Men's Mental Health Month, we're going to go somewhere real. Part 1. The grief nobody warns you about. They tell you divorce is hard. They tell you it's going to take time. They hand you a custody schedule and a set of legal documents, and they send you out into a life that looks nothing like the one you planned. What they don't tell you is that you are going to grieve. Not just the marriage, not just the relationship. You are going to grieve the daily life you had with your children, the Tuesday morning drop-offs, the bedtime routines, the random Wednesday afternoon where nothing special happened, but you were just there, present, in the same house, breathing the same air, living the same ordinary day together. Those ordinary days are gone, and losing them is a loss that doesn't have a name in our culture. There's no funeral for it. Nobody sends flowers. People expect you to move on because technically, your kids are still alive and still yours, just on a schedule now. But here's what the research actually tells us. The pain of parental separation is a form of ambiguous loss. That's a clinical term coined by therapist Pauline Boss. Ambiguous loss is grief without closure. Grief for something that still exists but has fundamentally changed. Your brain doesn't know whether to mourn or to hope. And for men who have also come out of a narcissistic or high-conflict relationship, that grief is layered on top of trauma. You're not just processing loss. You're processing loss while your nervous system is still in survival mode, while your sense of identity is still fractured, while someone may still be using your children as leverage in an ongoing war. That is an enormous amount for one person to carry. So the first thing I want to say to you, the most important thing, is this. What you are feeling is not weakness. It is not failure. It is not you falling apart. It is you being human. It is grief doing exactly what grief is supposed to do. The question is not whether you will feel this. The question is what you do with it. Part 2. What happens to men who don't process this? Here's something nobody wants to say out loud, so I'm going to say it. When men don't process this kind of loss, when they push it down, numb it out, stay busy enough to avoid it, it doesn't go away. It transforms. It becomes anger that comes out sideways, rage at small things, impatience with people who don't deserve it, a short fuse that you don't recognize as grief because it doesn't look like sadness. It becomes isolation, the slow withdrawal from friends, from family, from anyone who might ask how you're doing and actually mean it. So you stop answering at all. It becomes self-destruction, not always dramatic. Sometimes it's just the third drink when you know you should stop. The sleep you're not getting. The slow erosion of the habits that used to hold you together. The statistics on men after divorce are not comfortable reading. Divorced men have significantly higher rates of depression, anxiety, and substance use than their married counterparts. They are more likely to delay or avoid medical care. They experience higher rates of social isolation, and they are far less likely to seek mental health support than women going through the same experience. This is not because men are weaker. It is because men have been taught, explicitly and implicitly for their entire lives, that processing pain is not something they do. That the correct response to loss is to get up, get moving, and not talk about it. That programming is killing people. And I say that with no drama and no exaggeration. Unprocessed grief and chronic isolation in men are not just mental health issues. They are physical health crises. They shorten lives. So if you are in that place right now, if you recognize yourself in any of what I just described, I need you to hear this as clearly as I can say it. You are allowed to feel this. You are allowed to need help, and reaching out for help is not the end of something. It is the beginning. Part 3. Redefining what it means to be their dad. Here is where I want to shift. Because this video is not just about surviving the loss. It's about what becomes possible when you do the work. One of the most powerful reframes available to a divorced father is this: presence is not the same as proximity. Read that again. Presence is not the same as proximity. For most of our lives as fathers, we measured our involvement by being there, in the house, at the dinner table. And now that physical proximity has changed, it's easy to feel like the fathering itself has been diminished. But that belief, as understandable as it is not true. And it is worth fighting against with everything you have. Because what children need from their fathers is not square footage. It is not a custody percentage. What they need is a dad who is emotionally present, emotionally regulated, and consistently showing up, in whatever form that takes. Research consistently shows that the quality of the father-child relationship matters far more than the quantity of overnights. Children with engaged, emotionally available divorced fathers show better outcomes across the board. Academically, socially, emotionally. You have more power here than the custody agreement makes you feel like you have. So what does quality presence look like when you're not there every day? It looks like phone calls that aren't just logistical. It looks like knowing what's happening in their world, their friendships, their fears, what they're excited about at school, and asking about it specifically. It looks like letters and voice messages and small unexpected gestures that remind them you are thinking about them even when they can't see you. It looks like being fully, completely present on the days you do have them. Not distracted, not on your phone, not mentally somewhere else. There, in the room, in the moment, in their world. And critically, it looks like taking care of yourself. Because a father who is drowning cannot be an anchor. A father who is falling apart cannot be a safe place. Your mental and physical health is not separate from your fathering. It is the foundation of it. The man you are becoming through this process, the more self-aware, more intentional, more emotionally developed version of you, that man is a better father than the one who was simply present by default. That is what the data actually shows. Part 4. The growth nobody talks about. There is a concept in psychology called post-traumatic growth, PTG. It's one of the most well-documented and least talked about phenomena in the mental health space. Post-traumatic growth is not the absence of pain. It is not pretending the hard thing wasn't hard. It is what happens when human beings move through suffering with intention, when they do the work of processing rather than avoiding. Researchers who study PTG identify 5 core areas where it tends to show up: personal strength, new possibilities, relating to others, appreciation for life, and spiritual or existential change. Men who go through divorce, especially those who have come out of controlling or narcissistic relationships, hit every single one of these categories when they do the work. They discover capacities they didn't know they had. They build friendships that are more honest and more nourishing than anything they had before. They develop clarity about their values, what kind of man they want to be, what kind of father, what kind of partner someday. They stop performing and start living. I know that sounds like a motivational poster, but I'm telling you, this is real. This is what happens when you stop running from the pain and walk through it instead. The men in this community who are further down the road, the ones who did the therapy, who rebuilt the habits, they will tell you the same thing. They would not go back because of who they became on the other side. That man is available to you. Part 5. Practical steps forward, right now. So let's get practical, because inspiration without direction doesn't change anything. If you are in the early stages, the first year, maybe the first 2 years, here is what I want you to focus on. First, name what you're feeling, not to wallow in it, not to perform it, but to actually sit down, maybe with a journal, and say, this is grief, this is loss, this is real. Naming it takes away some of its power. Second, move your body every single day. I cannot overstate how non-negotiable this is. Exercise is not optional in recovery. It is medicine. It regulates your nervous system. It processes stress hormones. It rebuilds your sense of agency. Start wherever you are. Walk, lift, run, swim. It does not matter what it is. It matters that it happens. Third, get support. A therapist if you can access one. Specifically someone with trauma experience. A men's group if that's available to you. Other divorced dads who are doing the work. You are not designed to process this alone. Fourth, create rituals with your kids on your schedule. Don't try to replicate what the family used to be. Build something new that belongs specifically to you and them. a Friday night tradition, a specific meal you make together. Small, consistent rituals are how children feel safe and how connection is maintained across distance. Fifth, invest in who you are becoming. Read, learn, grow. Not to distract yourself from the pain, but because the man on the other side of this is worth building deliberately. What kind of father do you want to be? What do you want your kids to say about you when they're grown? Work backward from that answer and start making decisions that lead there. Outro/close. June is Men's Mental Health Month, and every year that phrase gets posted and shared and then quietly forgotten for the other 11 months. I don't want that for you. I want a life, your life, that is actually rebuilt. That actually reflects who you are when you're not in survival mode anymore. You did not choose this. You did not choose the divorce, the broken family, but you do get to choose what you do with it. You get to choose whether this is the thing that defines you or the thing that refined you. Your kids need you to make that choice. Not perfectly, not all at once, but consistently, honestly, with the kind of courage that doesn't look like bravery from the outside. It just looks like a man getting up and doing the work one more day. That's enough. That has always been enough. I'm Marcus. This is Rebuilding Men After Divorce. If this video helped you, subscribe, share it with a man who needs it. Keep rebuilding.